Hello. I was lucky that as a child I was taken to an RHS affiliated flower show in my hometown of Warwick, where I was born and brought up. And from the moment I entered the marquee, I was smitten. And over the subsequent years, as I'm reminded by this album of old cuttings, I entered floral art and floristry classes in both the junior and senior sections, and spurred on by a few winnings, I was hooked. So since the age of 7, I've known that I wanted to work with flowers, and now, age 53, I consider myself so fortunate to still be earning my living as a florist. And I was lucky that after that first visit to a flower show, I was able to return to a house with a garden where I recreated the marquee with a sheet over the washing line. And into that I filled it with saucer posies and miniature gardens made in seed trays, because that is what had really captivated me. So for pretty much all of my life, I've known and appreciated just how magical it is and how beneficial it is to be surrounded by plants and flowers, and the joy of growing and working with flowers. And I'm lucky now to be filming this during lockdown in my tiny London garden, where I've been able to seek solace and relax and plant some seeds, because isn't gardening the biggest sign of hope? But not everyone has a garden, and we don't all have vast vistas and rolling acres. However, we have balconies, window boxes, so we can all grow. And we might not have grand urns, and we might not have huge resources, but we can find a bucket, a plastic pot, or even an empty bean can. For me, one of the most rewarding things to grow is something I can eat, and then something I can enjoy. So it might be pea shoots in a punnet, which become the most delicious things that you can harvest 3 or 4 times, and then that goes into the compost. Or it might be an old olive oil can planted with beautiful basil. And I only sowed these a week ago. And if I'm not sowing something I can eat, I want to sow something that's beautiful. Flowers. But I want to sow things that are easy and that are really quite satisfying quite quickly. So things like Nigella are brilliant. Things like marigolds are perfect. Cornflowers, all of those things that will grow and become a bunch. That's what I want. And if I sow seeds or buy small plug plants, these will be the sort of thing that will be flowering in 6 or 8 weeks' time. That is so satisfying. When you're using empty tin cans, just be aware the edges of them can be a little bit sharp. So if you're working with younger children, just take care and be cautious. And the first thing you need to do, having removed any labels and rinsed your can, is bash some holes into the bottom using a nail and a hammer, or if you've a drill, get someone to drill some holes. It's essential because this will help with drainage once we start planting. Having made holes in the base of your bean can, you can add your compost. And I like to use a peat-free compost, whatever you can get hold of. It's quite challenging at the moment, but there are some brilliant mail order companies that will be able to supply you with compost. And you want to make sure that your can is filled up to pretty much a centimetre or so from the very top. I want this to grow into something that becomes a beautiful bunch. So therefore, I'm going to pop in a little calendula, that's the pot marigold, and a cornflower. and this one's already got a bud on it. But what I will probably do is nip that off so that it encourages some side shoots, and then I'll get a good few. Because the container is relatively small, I'm chancing it, so these are going to have some feed. So I'm planting each of them at the far side, not hard up against the edge, but an inch or a couple of centimetres in from the edge. And the same with my cornflower on this side. Firm them in, and I'm going to give that a good water and pop it somewhere sunny and keep an eye on it. As well as planting Centaurea, the cornflower, and Calendula, the marigolds, the other thing that is brilliant is Nigella, love in a mist, for its beautiful, soft, feathery foliage. And within a few weeks, with some diligent watering and some words of encouragement, you may end up with some Nigella, some Centaurea, and some Calendula. And with these homegrown blooms, you'll be able to create the most beautiful bunch. It's very easy. So I use my hand almost as if it's a vase, and I strip off the lower leaves, because any of these leaves that are left in the water will become really smelly and soupy really quickly. So I break down my stems, and then I use them almost as the support and the frame for the rest of my design. And I'm going to use the Nigella first because it's nice and soft and wafty, and will give a looseness to my arrangement. And then in go those Calendula. Aren't they magnificent? Bright, sunny, scented flowers. They have the most gorgeous gardeny fragrance to them. Just add them in loosely to create a nice, soft, rounded shape. And then our star performers, these cornflowers, Centaurea, that I'm threading through. And once you're happy with your arrangement, take some twine or string or wool. I've got some paper covered wire. Wrap that round and then twist a couple of times so that it's good and secure, and then snip that off. Once your bunch is securely tied, you need to trim the stems. So whatever you're sowing and growing, be it a bouquet in a bucket or a bunch in a bean tin, whatever you're doing, enjoy it. Unleash the power of the flower. Keep safe. Thanks for watching.